The simplest way to meditate is to focus your mind on one thing, especially if you're a beginner and you deal with intrusive thoughts. If you just starting out, just pick your breath to focus on, or an apple, or one object. You have to learn how to slow your mind down without using anything like weed and drugs to do it. Because if you can't control your own mind, you're literally insane. You shouldn't need something external to fix something internal. So practice on focusing on one thing and also practice on your breathing. Learn different breathing techniques like dragon breathing to really get in tune with your own chi energy. You don't have to sit crisscross applesauce, but I recommend. And you can also listen to this meditation playlist right here. I recommend this one. Link is in the bio. So you can really get in tune with your inner self and that God energy. Because we all got it. A lot of people just don't know how to activate it, and you activate that through meditation, through sitting in solitude. Stay tuned for part 2.
I'm not sure why, but in the West, we have not caught on to meditation, like as a society. I don't know what it is about the meditation practice. Maybe it's that it seems boring and that we'd rather distract ourselves. But ultimately, we're missing out on what a lot of the world has tapped into, and that's the benefits of meditation. Meditation isn't what you think it is. It allows you to tap into something no one can explain to you. It can only be experienced, but you have to be willing to go there. And that's essentially what this video is about. We're going to talk about the many benefits of meditation and how exactly to meditate in the first place. Let's get into it.
This is what actually happens when you meditate. Meditation is a conscious practice of observing reality objectively without thoughts, judgments, or emotions. This is done by controlling your conscious awareness and your conscious attention. Your conscious attention is your ability to focus your awareness on one specific thing. Your conscious awareness is your ability to be aware of multiple things at once. Now, to make this make more sense, do this simple meditation exercise with me. Take a moment and notice the next thought that pops up in your head. Notice how there is an aspect of your consciousness that is watching and waiting for the thought to pop up in your mind. This part of your mind that is separate from your thoughts but can observe your thoughts is your conscious awareness. And the part of your mind that focused your awareness directly on your thoughts is your conscious attention. Okay, but why does any of this matter? Why should you meditate? Well, this matters because majority of us think that we are the voice that is in our head. We think we are our emotions. We think that we are what our body feels. This is a judgmental and subjective view of our human experience that inevitably leads to stress, anxiety, addiction, low self-esteem, depression, and more. And so by practicing meditation and controlling your awareness and your attention, you are able to detach from your thoughts, emotions, and physical sensations and perceive reality objectively through your awareness, not subjectively through your ego. Awareness and attention is not thought. Awareness and attention has no emotion. To perceive reality from these two things is to perceive reality without judgment. Over time, it's this non-judgmental perception of reality that leads to acceptance, and that acceptance leads to detachment from pain and detachment from suffering. And no, detachment is not escapism where you don't care what's going on inside of you or outside of you and you pretend that it's not there. Detachment comes from the opposite. Detachment comes from an unconditional acceptance of yourself, your mind, and of reality. That can only happen by perceiving reality objectively. And that is why meditation is so important. Okay, but how do you actually meditate?
Woo, we're dropping gems early today, okay? What a concise video. That video was what, like 128 seconds? I mean, he pretty much summed it all up. Where we focus our conscious attention tends to be what we identify with, our ego. It's why we feel attacked, why we feel like we have to defend ourselves, why we feel unsafe, why we feel like security is the most important thing, why we feel self-conscious, why we feel judged, why we feel important. So we are hyper focusing our attention on our thoughts, on our emotions, on our bodily sensations, like he said, and we tend to get lost in what's really happening because we've now created this story, this narrative where we're the character that generally something is happening to. Instead of pulling completely back from that and zooming out and having more omniscient awareness, we're so focused on the character and what's happening that we can't actually see the bigger picture. Meditation for me has been transformative, and even in such a little amount of time. The focus that you gain is ridiculous. My ability to focus now and be present on something has increased 200-fold because when I'm sitting in meditation, I'm training my brain to focus on one thing. And because I'm continuously meditating, I'm getting better and better at it. So now when I'm out of my meditation and I'm doing something like uploading videos, I can focus for a much longer period of time because I've been practicing and disciplining myself to focus through meditation. Not only that, I'm so much more aware of my thoughts. Like before, they would just kind of all come in and they just bounce around, and I would attach to some and I'd let some go. And now I can really just watch it, almost like clouds moving through the sky or butterflies flying through the wind. Like it's not something that I have to attach my entire being to. I can just watch it and let it go. I don't have to react if I don't want to. I'm more patient. I'm more grounded. I mean, I honestly could keep going with this list, but that ultimately is what this video is about. We're going to talk about how transformative meditation is for the chaos of the mind. And we're going to talk about how to do it. So let's get into it.
You have many different ways of meditation. I would say the easiest way of meditation, because a lot of people say I couldn't clear the chatter. So the whole thing is, don't worry about clearing the chatter. Sit down, align your spinal cord, and focus on your breath. So you sit up upright and you would do diaphragmatic breathings. As I was talking about before, the lungs act as the wings, but the wings are pushed out due to your diaphragmatic muscles. So you breathe in. When you breathe in through the nasal passage, your stomach's supposed to expand. So you hold it for 3 seconds, then you're going to release. When you release, you're going to release for 9 seconds. And when you're releasing, your stomach, your belly button damn near supposed to be touching your spinal cord. So when you're doing that, you're going to do it in a rhythmatic frequency, but you're going to focus on the breath. When you start focusing on the breath, if you do it long enough, you'll start to hear your heartbeat. You'll be able to hear it. And then that's what you're keying in on. So true meditation is just becoming in the present now. Because when you draw your consciousness into the present now, this is where magical things happen in that. Because now you're not stuck worrying about the past, nor you're not planning or preparing for the future. You're stuck in the moments, and the moments are eternity. Right. And the only way you can tap into that eternity is by focusing on something. So don't worry about the chatter, just focus on your breath. Diaphragmatic breathing is one of the greatest forms of meditation.
They're put off by meditation because they think that the mind is supposed to be silent. But the purpose of meditation is to come into awareness. You become aware of how chatty the mind is. You become aware of all of these thoughts that you're not aware of because you're so distracted. And then you realize how much the mind is out of control, but how much the mind talks to itself and how much of that talking to itself we identify with and then call it us. In my meditation experience, I have had magical things happen. Things that it would be a disservice to put into words and that I could never truly describe to replicate in your imagination what those experiences were like, but they were profound. And the amount of clarity and introspection and understanding that you get from meditating is wild, significant. So many of us are running from ourselves. One of the hardest things to do is to sit with yourself and to sit in the mess that is the mind. Because when you sit with yourself with no distractions, there's nowhere to run. It's so easy to run by picking up your phone and scrolling social media, to distract yourself with Netflix or YouTube, to distract yourself with music and food, alcohol, relationships with people. I mean, the list goes on for our tendency to run from ourselves. And then we label it as boredom. We're constantly trying to fulfill our empty holes and voids with something external. And it's really about turning the eye inwards and looking at ourselves. But it takes a lot of courage and some patience, because meditation is a practice. It's not something that you're instantly good at, but you do see benefits very quickly. And if you can have the discipline to sit with yourself and to sit in silence and darkness, your world will change. Your entire existence will shift in the best way. Let's keep going.
I meditate every day. I do it in the mornings. I do it for about 10 to 15 minutes. It sets me up for the rest of the day. It's like having an anchor. If I don't do it, I feel like I'm constantly chasing the day, as opposed to being able to be controlled and dictate the day. Not that you're calling the shots on what comes forward, but the fact that I am set and ready for whatever may come my way. I have a calmness about whatever comes my way and a poise. The reality is we're paying attention to so many things that are going on around us. We don't take the time to really observe what's going on inside of ourselves. And that comes from starting the morning off with meditation.
Remembering our brother. He had so many great points. One, you don't have to meditate for 30 days in a cave or 2 hours. You can start off slow, meditate for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It doesn't really matter. It's all about taking the action. So don't let time constraints or your idea of what it's supposed to look like stop you from moving forward with it, with something that's going to dramatically improve your life. Another thing that he mentioned was about it being an anchor. When you're in meditation and you're focusing and you're allowing your thoughts to come and go and you're not attaching to them, you're just observing them, you take that same practice with you when you leave your meditation. So the next time you're in conversation with someone and they say something that really chaps your ass, that really gets on your nerves, you're able to just observe the thought that leads to the emotion without attaching to it. And then there's less of a need to address it. Things bother you less because you realize that they're just thoughts coming in that are disturbing your peace, and you're choosing not to attach to that. There are just so many benefits of meditation that if you're not already meditating, you're doing yourself a real disservice. And it's totally free. 5 minutes of your time, totally free. Once in the morning, once at night, religiously every day. There's no excuse. Start meditating.
This is a very ancient meditation technique taught by Thoth the Atlantean that when followed will change your reality. Go in a dark room and imagine a circle around your body and then begin to speak and utter these names. Untanas, Huertas, Chaital, Goyana, Huertal, Zambeda, Ardal. They're not names, they are cymatic frequencies. And when they're said right, in the meditation, they have the power to alter the future of reality. They have the power to alter space-time. This is super ancient wisdom.
Very interesting. I've never tried that. I'm super new in my meditation journey. And what I've come to find is that there's so many different techniques. So many people have different ways that they meditate. But ultimately, you tap in. You tap into something that you don't get to tap into outside of meditation that I'm aware of, outside of plant medicine, which is also super helpful. But this is ancient stuff. Meditation is only foreign in the West. This stuff has been going on for a long time in other parts of the world. And it's like we're just catching up to it. We're catching up to the ancient wisdom that our ancestors knew. And we're tapping in a way that is changing reality. This isn't a train you want to miss.
If you sit alone for 3 days, no television, no book, no texting, simply by yourself, let's see what happens. You must know the nature of who you are. You should not go on dodging yourself and one day you will explode into something. You must know what is the level of madness you're suffering. When I say madness, if your mind is out of your control, is that called madness in definition? Hello? If your mind does not take instructions from you, it's out of control, is that called madness? Just try and just go sit quietly in your room. Just see what all your mind does. You decide, don't tell anybody. You decide what is the level of madness you're going through. With this, if you enter the world, what will you create? You will only create who you are, isn't it?
That video was so short, but packed with so much stuff. First of all, sitting for 3 days alone in meditation, I don't know where I would go. Like, I have no idea where my mind would go, but I'm low-key interested to find out. And I'll keep y'all posted on that. I'll probably do a video about that if I decide to do it. So finding out the level of your madness, finding out where your thoughts go when there are no distractions, putting the flashlight on what it is we neurose over. I don't know if that's a word, neuroses. What it is we are addicted to thinking about. And we are creating from that space. Whether it's we're addicted to fear and we live a sheltered life, whether we're addicted to food and we can't put the fork down, whether we're addicted to escaping our shame and so we drink about it. We're literally always creating from the mind. And you can really find out how controlled your mind is by fasting. How long can you go without eating food? The longest I've gone was 4 days on a intentional fast. The mind will pull you forwards, backwards, around, sideways, diagonal, any way that it can to control you, because that's its nature. Its nature is to keep you safe in the best way that it knows how, in the best way that you've programmed it to. So sitting in meditation for 3 days or fasting is a way for you to really see, are you controlling your mind or is your mind controlling you? And obviously, I recommend fasting and any of these things after you've consulted your physician. I'm not in any way, shape, or form offering any medical advice, as I am not a medical professional practicing anymore. Drop a comment. I want to hear what y'all think about meditating and what y'all think about fasting. Do you think you can do it?
The ancient teaching, the ultimate secret from the East, how to properly meditate, how to access pure consciousness. You must develop a strong eye where you can do this. This is meditation, folks. This is the secret, or this is this truth that they have been hiding from you. This is meditation. By me focusing, I am now connecting with that pure consciousness, that higher intelligence in my body. That intelligence those or people call God. This is how you meditate. Instead of envisioning colors, you should focus on this center and breathe. Also, connect your tongue to the roof, and this is the true meditation. This is something that you need to begin practicing if you're interested in activating your psychic centers and becoming more intuitive. And this is something that you need to start doing every day if you want to really meditate, because it's a journey. You know, you start small, because it's pretty hard to do, to keep your eyes in that position. But you start slow. You start, 2 minutes. Before you know it, you're holding it for 30 minutes. Before you know it, you're meditating for 2 hours straight. But this is the real form of meditation, not that hogwash that was teaching you closing your eyes and just looking at colors.
I loved his video. I'm going to try. Whew. So what he's talking about is focusing your eyeballs on your third eye, which is a chakra or energy center. This is actually ancient wisdom. So focusing your attention on the third eye is actually activating your pineal gland, which ancient civilizations believe led to a heightened sense of awareness, intuition, and clairvoyance that you've tapped into the divine consciousness of source. So doing that in meditation is highly recommended. But I like how he said starting off slow and working your way up. We can really discourage ourselves before we've even started because of what we think it's supposed to be like, instead of starting small. Again, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. It's a practice. And anything you're just beginning, you're not going to be great at. So just start and see where it takes you.
Why is nobody talking about the fact that most of the population is operating from the 2 lowest energy centers or chakras? The 2 things you look forward to the most are sleeping and eating, then your energy is mostly in your root chakra. If you look forward to pleasure seeking and sex the most in your life, then your energy is mostly in your sacral chakra. These are the lower states of consciousness. Once you raise your energy up higher, you will experience higher dimensions of life. Through specific breathwork and meditation techniques that have been passed down by yogis throughout the centuries, you can actually allow energy to flow through all these centers so you can experience higher dimensions of life. After consistent practice, it's honestly hard to feel anxious or depressed or fearful, because once your energy is raised to a certain point, you just let go of all those lower vibrational emotions. Every single one of us has so much potential, but if your energy is locked in the lower energy centers, it can be hard to close the gap between you and your dream life. Heaven is here on earth.
I think he had a lot of great points. But ultimately, this is what meditation does for us. It helps us to raise our consciousness from living in these lower centers. And I say lower, not because lower means bad and higher means good, but in this world of polarity that is defined through space and time, this is how we refer to the chakra system. So we're living in these lower energy centers, and meditation helps us to raise our vibration. And ultimately, raising our vibration allows us to attract to ourselves higher vibrating circumstances and experiences. So we're now tapping into higher levels of consciousness, which is just changing what it is we're experiencing. We've been living in the lower centers for a really long time, and it's time to elevate. It's time to expand our consciousness and awareness, and it's time to take meditation seriously. There's so many benefits, honestly. Like, it will change the quality of your life. But don't take it from me. Experience it yourself and let me know what you come up with. Drop a comment below. I would love to hear what your experience is like, or what you think about meditation. Maybe even about what's stopping you from moving forward with it.
There have been a fair number of cases of people that go and do very extensive meditation, silent meditation retreats, who then return to normal life and end up killing themselves. There are states of mind inside of extended meditations or silent meditations that are very beneficial. And I'm certainly not suggesting people don't meditate, but I know at least one person who came back from one of these long extended meditation retreats and wasn't able to shift their state back into one that was functional in regular life.
This makes sense. I think it's so important for us to have a wide variety of perspectives, because I believe then we're able to make more informed choices. But the reason that I say I believe that this can happen is because when you go through a spiritual awakening, you have a complete shift in perception, ideas, beliefs, and you question your existence up until that point. And if you don't have someone to support you and walk you through this integration that's happening of this shift in consciousness that you've had, and if you don't have the tools to navigate this, it can be wildly disrupting to the human experience that you're having. And I'm actually going to do a video on spiritual awakening soon. So if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe so that you get notified when that video drops. But yeah, I mean, this makes sense. Like, I get why he shared this, but I don't think that there's anything to be afraid of. And if you believe that fear is real, go ahead and check out my video on fear being an illusion to help you navigate any inner turmoil you're experiencing around that. But I don't think that this experience that he shared should deter anyone from starting their meditation journey. And God rest his soul, this individual that he's referring to. But I don't think that anyone should allow this message to deter you from beginning your meditation journey. It will wildly transform your life. I don't think that I've said this enough times. So just try it out. Let me know what you think. But that's pretty much all we got today, people. Thank you so much for dropping in and watching. I've really enjoyed making this video, as I too am on my meditation journey. So if you haven't already, go ahead and like, subscribe, and share this video with someone who you think would benefit from starting their meditation journey, or someone you'd like to share this knowledge with. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.